We are doing it's like it's not a movie. It's in artist saying it's a durational piece, like it's a performance, but we're trying to reenact something in the past, not in a movie form, but it's like a memory. You know, the rail lines, they were originally laid in the Gold Coast, but those were mostly laid for transportation of goods and services, gold, cocoa, whatever it is. And when the rails were being built back in the day, late 19th century, early 20th century, that's like a century ago, a lot of the labor that went into it were coming from the peripheries, not from like the centers, like from above, like the northern territories and others. It means that a lot of their ancestors were the people who went to build that. But imagine that the rail lines never came all the way to the north. Neither did the resources. The north has always been impoverished, and it was impoverished for a long time until Nkrumah even took over, things like that. So now we have collected these rail lines with a history, and we've rebuilt it here. The first time that we have a rail line in the north, but through like an artistic point of view. It's active and whatever. And then we are trying to re-engage the men, looking at it from the historical point of view, where the men used to carry the rail lines, like you see like in the historical photographs, like these ones. So you see, this is what we're trying to do now. This was a few days ago. Okay. You see. So now you see that there's a weight, it's like a different layers of history. So they are carrying, the time when they were carrying this, they were not working on it. It was just based to build the rail line for cocoa to go onto it with the labor. Now we are re-engaging the bodies that were once connected to it in a very, very poetic sense. So the historical images, you'll find them. This how they look. See?
Oh my goodness.
You see, so these are all historical images. So we are reenacting it. You realize that they are walking separate from the line. But this time we've placed them on the line. So these are our ancestors. And those days they didn't have, it was under the colonial administration, so things were very tough. So it was all very exploitative. So for me now, I'm asking myself, what does it mean to take that burden of history now, different bodies and different, but still connected historically, and then somehow reenacting it. All these trains and everything, geographically they were not supposed to be here, but through art and the courage that we use in the name of building institutions, we're able to bring this memory that is somehow lost in time back. And it's a very difficult one, so they might be complaining, shouting, blah, blah, blah. And I told them, you think that your ancestors had a choice when they were doing this? So all these shouting and everything. Though it might be it seems agitating and all that, but in my mind, I know what we are dealing with, so it's all part of the work. You can't do art without antagonism and things like that, so it's a push and pull. You have to negotiate and go along.
I heard a lot about you, but since I get here, I don't know, where do you get such idea and what motivates you? Because your age, I don't think you are that old too.
Hey, I'm an old man.
No, I don't think you are that old. But you know, like me, like your age, I know, like it's supposed to be like office and stuff. But when I get here, everything is so like back in the days, what our forefathers went through, and you are putting too much. I'm seeing so many, like the cement hats.
And the same ones they are wearing.
Yes,
back in the day, they were not using those things. So it's layers and layers and layers of history. So labor. So these cement paper hats, they literally symbolize labor. So I'm trying to connect different layers of things that have happened across time. So if we were to take one photo and we cut it, and you go deeper into it, it's like a multi-layer of time. Maybe 18 something, 19 something, all the different points in time. If you cut the photograph, you see all the layers. It's like you've cut the earth and you're looking at all the different sedimentaries of the earth, like clay, sand, rocks, whatever. All these things are multi-layered in the image.
That's what I'm asking. What started everything? Like, how did you start what you are doing? You just wake up one day and you're like, okay, I'm just going to go back in time, or what really started the whole thing?
Well, it's philosophy, because I studied at Kwame Nkrumah University. I studied painting and sculpture, and the professors at the department, led by Professor Karikacha Sedi, he was very much interested in ways in which artists could shift their perspective and their gaze, the way they produce. You know, in the olden days, a lot of artists used to make pictures and things like that. As people would buy those pictures, paintings, hang them in their rooms. But he was more or less asking the questions, how do we make art that somehow reorders the way society functions and things? Sometimes you have to go back in time in order to be able to resurrect certain forms. Sometimes you have to pretend that you are a time traveler, rather than coming from the future in order to, you've seen something in the future and you're coming back in the past in order to reorder things so the future can be aligned. So it's like when you're a movie maker or a poet and then you're putting things together, or a musician who is like singing about things that don't exist, things like that. You create, it's fiction, you create things in your mind, and then in reality you try to reorder the reality that is around you. But then you can decide that you order a reality which doesn't work, or you take realities that are there that somehow it's almost missing, vanishing off in our memory, or it's not even there. It's there, but we are not conscious of it. So through art, then it becomes possible. So that's why they say artists, we are mad and we are crazy and all that. Because we ourselves, we can't understand ourselves. Even God doesn't understand us. So it's a strange phenomenon. So when the idea comes, it's like a spirit. It's like when the Holy Ghost enters you, you have to get up and shabaya, something like that. You have to get up and then you have to act, something like that. So those things, yes.
I see some of the wood from Takrade,
yes.
From secondary.
They're all from secondary. Okay. And this place, Huni Valley, in Sawam, all around, but not from the north. They all came from the south. That's why I wanted to somehow, there are historical references and things in it. So when you look at the object closely and you read deeper into it, you realize that there are things that are displaced. When you go in the buildings, the shoemaker boxes are from Accra and other places, Kumasi. When you go to the sewing machines are collected from all around the country by scrap dealers, but they are originally from India, from Manchester, other places connected to the Industrial Revolution, slavery, blah, blah, blah. So everything is multi-layered in history. Some of them are like these pots. They go beyond slavery to the times of our ancestors when they used to make clay works. They used to do it in order to preserve their histories. They buried them in the ground. Later on, people would make them into make pots, keep water in them. The water will be cool, they'll drink from it. So all these histories are within it. So for me, it's the matter of, if you're building a studio like this is a place where I'm supposed to be making my work as an artist. But the question is that, what does it mean for an artist to produce work? Is the work just maybe you as a musician going in the studio to sing, or an actor making a film, and then, or the constellation of things around it? When we are making, like you've come like this, we're having an intellectual conversation. It's all this part of the work. That is the thing that we're looking at. It's a constellation that allows for us to be able to come together. So for me, art is not something that you just make and it's finished. It's something that allows for a continuum of time, for us to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah.
And I think it makes you think about what our forefathers went through.
Exactly. Because when things are always in the center, it makes people there comfortable. You know, oh yeah, I live in the capital, I can just go, yes. No, you have to go out of your comfort zone. And realize, what about the people who live in this place? Historically, as I was saying, they were always marginalized. So now, these are the places. I was born here. By the age of 2, I was sent to Accra. I didn't grow up here. It was a risk in itself for me to come here. But when I came here, I realized that it was rather an important one, because it allowed me to do a much more reflective work, which I don't think I could have done in the South. Because in Accra, everyone just wakes up, they are the place. Oh, let's go to the conference center. There's no time for critical reflection. But if you build an institution, even in the Volta region, in a Afram Plains, whatever, by the time people move and get to the Afram Plains, it's an intentional effort. You know that you are going out of your comfort zone to see something. When you see it on your way back, you're talking about it in the past. Blah, blah, blah. But Accra, you go there, but the hustle and bustle of the city, between there and home, there's no time for thinking and reflection. Everything is fast. Exactly. So sometimes we need to slow ourselves down. And when there is distance, it allows things, reason. Distance allows for reason. Yeah.
You are doing very well. We
it's so by the grace.
Much about you.
So by the grace.
I'm very, very happy for what you've been doing. And I think we are not in Ghana, you are giving us something to talk about. At least when we are talking to somebody who is not a Ghanaian, we can point here that come to Tamale and see something. Yes. I have a friend that they have been in America for a long time. And if anybody wants to come to Ghana, I will just tell them, when you come to Tamale.
When the plane is passing by Tamale, let them work parachute and jump. This is the first place they should come before.
Right now, because most of the time I will tell them, when you come, go to Ghana, go to Takrade.
Go to Cape Coast.
Go to Cape Coast and stuff. Yes. But now I have someone that I will tell my friends that when you come to Tamale, come and see this. And I know that anybody who comes, because they will love it, especially Black American believe in what our forefathers went through so much. So when they come and see this, you are doing a good job. And thank you for opening your doors for us to come here. I appreciate it a lot.
It's supposed to be open for everyone. So at least the same way I experience the world when I travel and see things, the same way that people randomly can walk into a space and experience it, look at it through my eyes or look at it through their own perspectives. It's very important. If we make things accessible to the world, there is a big possibility that it might influence people, especially kids. It might influence their perception of the world, their perception of history, their perception of time, how they think. And if we don't get people to think, children to think, well, how do we think we're going to have responsible adults or adults who are going to be more conscious in the future? And that is what an institution, a cultural institution, is supposed to do. Thank you very much.
We are here. We're going to go around and see more. So thank you.
No, thank you very much.
Taking out time of your busy schedule and allowing us.
No, thank you for coming.
It means a lot to me.
Yeah. And we are very appreciative of you guys coming to support the Cook-a-thon and Phyla. It's really incredible and remarkable.
Sleep for 7 days.
I know. And hey, this 8th day. And then this day is the 8th.
Strong.
Hey, if we leave her, she'll cook for 3 months straight.
Oh my God.
Our mothers here, when they have to cook and they are on their toes, they cook.
Since you brought that one up, if they give you, if you want to join the Guinness Book of Record, I know what you're going to do. That one, you don't even have to tell me. I know you're going to. But what can you do continuous for maybe 5 days or 6 days?
Hey, I was saying that Phyla, I can't even, if I don't sleep for 6 hours at least a day, I can't even stand. I need to sleep for my mind to be clear to do what I do. So I give her a lot of thumbs up. I don't know. Me, in my work, I don't look at doing something continuously. I look at doing something, stopping, reflecting on it, thinking. Thinking is most of the work. So I don't know if I can think continue. Even that one, I can't.
Guinness Book out of record, you are out of it.
Maybe one day I'll compile something. I realize that, or maybe I did something that could have, and you apply. But those things, I'm not. We know. But nonetheless, what she is doing has reunited the city.
Yes.
Even with Efua, when she did that, when Hidabasi did that in Nigeria, and all these other people, Alan Fisher and then the lady from Uganda, all these things that allows the world to come together again in ways. The world is a very depressing place, honestly.
It is.
Gaza is happening, Ukraine is happening. People sometimes want just a moment of escape, you know. So when these things happen, it allows us to momentarily breathe, forget and come back together. But beyond that, we have to remember that beyond that, we have to come back to the real world. So how do we prepare the world? We have to for the real world. So for me, if Phyla finishes and then she goes back to the people who are supporting and all that, the politicians who are showing up and then doing all the pictures and everything, when she finishes and she wants to expand her business and she goes, they shouldn't turn her away because there are no cameras. Exactly. That's the things that we suffer here. Once there are no cameras, no one is interested. People are always interested when there are cameras around. They want to show their face and exactly, which is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Continue your good work.
Okay.
And we're gonna go back and see what you have for us. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. No, yes. Thank you.